So today, we're not digging into an article or some data set. No, our source material is a blueprint, an actual vision for an entire community, built literally from the ground up. We're going to take a deep dive into the heights, and we're going to deconstruct its design from that big 10,000-foot view of the master plan right down to the layout of a single room. Let's get into it. This is probably the ultimate challenge for any urban planner, a completely blank canvas. How do you take a piece of empty land and turn it into a place that people are genuinely proud to call home? It's so much more than just arranging buildings, right? You're actually architecting a human experience. This view really gives you a sense of the sheer scale of that ambition, putting the heights into an even bigger vision for the whole area. To really understand a community like this, you have to start from the sky and work your way down. So we're kicking things off with the master plan. This is the core philosophy, the big idea that dictates how every single road, park, and home will eventually connect and work together as a whole. Okay, so here we are zooming in on the core concept. You can see the entire development is organized into these two separate horseshoe-shaped clusters. Now that shape isn't just for looks, it's a very deliberate choice from a planning perspective. It creates this natural sense of enclosure, it slows down traffic, and it helps foster a safer, more intimate neighborhood where you're just more likely to bump into your neighbors. You'll notice the map is color-coded. Those colors, the pink, yellow, and gray, they show you where the different home models are placed. And look how they're intentionally mixed up and spread throughout the clusters. This is such a key strategy. It's how you avoid those monotonous, cookie-cutter streets. Instead, you get a neighborhood that feels more visually dynamic, more organic, with a bunch of different architectural styles. But let's be real, a great community is always more than just a collection of nice houses. The blueprint for the Heights is also a blueprint for a certain kind of lifestyle, one that's carefully engineered through all these shared spaces and amenities. Looking at that same map again, let's shift our focus to those green arteries that are woven all through the residential areas. This layout shows a clear commitment to what planners call walkability. By making sure that every single home is just a short, pleasant walk from a park, or a garden, or a community hub, the design is actively encouraging people to get outside, to meet their neighbors, and just to lead a more active life. And what's in those shared spaces? Well, a whole range of amenities, covering everything from recreation and leisure to essential community services. The big takeaway here is the goal of self-sufficiency. They've included a pool, a sports court, a community center, a mosque, and even a farm-to-table cafe. The aim is to create a neighborhood where pretty much all of your daily needs can be met just a few steps from your front door. All right, so we've explored the community, the we space. And now let's zoom in even further to the personal space, the me space, and let's analyze the different homes that are actually on offer. So the development gives you three distinct choices, really catering to different family sizes and lifestyles: a 3, a 4, and a 5-bedroom home. Let's take a second to compare the core design philosophy behind each one. First up, the 3-bedroom option. The layout you see on the right is just a classic example of modern, efficient design. The priority here is a single, big, open-plan space that combines the living room, dining room, and kitchen. This just gets rid of any formal barriers and creates a central family hub that then flows right into the private garden and pool area. It basically extends your living space straight outdoors. Now, when we move to the 4-bedroom model, you can immediately see the jump in scale on the ground floor. It's just more spacious, and it has a really convenient downstairs bedroom suite. But the biggest evolution in this design, the real game changer, is the addition of an entire 3rd level, a roof floor, with another family room and a huge terrace. That just dramatically increases the home's usable square footage and gives you a whole new zone for relaxing or entertaining. And finally, the 5-bedroom model. The map on the left shows you these homes occupy the premium limited lots. And the floor plan, well, it tells you why. The ground floor is absolutely expansive. But the defining feature, you can see it right there in the center, is a private internal lift. That is a true marker of luxury, and it fundamentally changes the accessibility and the entire feel of a multi-story home. Okay, to really appreciate the design philosophy in action, let's do a little virtual walkthrough. We're going to step inside the largest model, that 5-bedroom home, and explore its layout level by level. So we're starting on the ground floor, which is so clearly designed for hosting. You walk through a foyer, past a full guest suite, and then the space just explodes into this massive combined living and dining area. The entire back of the house is basically a wall of glass, creating this seamless indoor-outdoor experience that connects you right to the patio, the pool, and even a sunken fire pit lounge. It is an entertainer's dream, plain and simple. Now let's take the stairs, or hey, the lift, up to the first floor. This is the family's private sanctuary. This level has 4 separate bedrooms. Now, 3 of them are really generously sized, lots of storage, lots of light, but the real architectural focus is that massive master suite. I mean, it's basically its own wing, complete with a huge walk-in wardrobe, a spa-like bathroom, and its own private balcony that overlooks the garden below. And finally, we arrive at the roof floor, which just perfectly encapsulates modern luxury living. This is not just an attic, it's a versatile third living area. You've got a cozy indoor family room for quiet nights, and then this massive outdoor terrace that gives you a whole other open-air zone for relaxing with a view or entertaining under the stars. So, after our tour of all 3 of those incredible floors, what does all this space actually translate to in pure numbers? A total area of 546.67 square meters. That's nearly 5,900 square feet. It's just a single figure, but it really quantifies that sheer sense of scale and volume we just walked through. And, this brings us to a final, much bigger question. When a community is planned with this level of detail, from the gentle curve of the streets all the way down to the flow of a single room, is it really just a blueprint for a house? Or is it an attempt at something more, a blueprint for a life? That's the real vision embedded in these plans. Thanks for tuning in.